What do you say we go to the garden and show these people what they're looking for? Hello? McFly. Oh, you poor thing. Where are you going? Good morning, folks. Those that know me, call me Tom or Tommy. I have been absent a few years. So, welcome back to me, I suppose, to this Yoo-hoo thing, YouTube. Quick side note here. I'm going to talk just a little bit for those people, hundreds of emails and comments. People have been trying to contact me for the last couple of years, wondering what happened to me, where have I been, what am I up to, am I still alive? Obviously, as I'm talking into this phone again, feeling awkward and strange by doing so, I am alive. I'm healthy, I'm strong, and this man is still above the dirt, on this side of the dirt. So, I'm going to give a little quick update. I'm not into sharing my private individual life, online very much. But I think a little explanation to those hundreds of people that have been trying to contact me, and thousands and thousands, multiple thousands of people that have subscribed to the channel of Three Basket Living, which blows my mind. I haven't quite comprehended that as to why, because there's millions of people doing YouTube stuff, trying to start a channel and everything. Why this one? I'm not quite sure. I appreciate it. I'll admit it kind of humbles me and feeds my ego in a kind of sort of way a little bit. I guess it makes me think that there's people out there that appreciate maybe some of the thoughts I got in this noggin of mine. And if I get too long-winded, you folks, you got the damn controls in your hands right now or at your fingertips. Go down to that little setting thing if you want to hear what I got to say, but I'm too long-winded. Increase your playback speed to like 1.25 or 1.5. There's a little gear or something. I think you can do that. I could give a damn. So, but for your benefit, increase the playback speed so it doesn't seem so long and drawn out. Now, back to me being gone. I've just had some hard-hitting life events, and it just really caught up to me. So how everything else is going, it's going good. I got a lot of catch-up to do, and I've been doing a lot of neglecting on the property, so I just basically gave up on things for a while, and just working through my stuff, and that's it. Now, with all the comments and emails that I have ignored for the last couple of years, for the most part, hadn't been on, hadn't cared, and not that makes anybody or anyone out there irrelevant or non-important, non-significant. Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter what I do, what I say, what I think, and dealing with the public out there. That has no bearing on your value, your significance, and your relevance in this life. So I hope nobody took offense, because if you took offense of anything that I did or didn't do or say or don't say, then you're a thief, because I'm not offering offense, not intentionally. So if you're taking it, that means you're a thief. You're stealing it, right? It's like the script says, woe unto those who take offense. You're taking something that doesn't belong to you, and you're accepting it. Shame on you, you thief. So, with all the attempts to find out what's going on, it seems like the prominent thing that everybody seemed to be concerned about was the garden. And I'm going to make an assumption here in this back to Eden wood chip gardening method that I do, and my principles and concepts and just using logic. So I'm assuming that you guys want to know if what I did is still significant, productive, if I'm happy. Maybe it's more like a garden review of this type of method. That's my presumption. Wanting to know if it's successful or a fail, because I kind of go against the grain with all the fluff and puff BS, back to Eden gardening that people want to denounce and demonize or reject. So the year before last, it's been almost 2 years. Last time I applied another layer of wood chips, and I probably did 2 to 3 inches or something like that. Now last year in 2021, about toward the beginning of the season, with all the life events taking place and so forth, I just gave up. I didn't give a damn about the garden, and I had stuff planted in there. I just let it go. I just let it go with bare minimum visitations out here to the garden. I knew at some point in time I was going to get back into it. And so what I did is I come out here and I picked some things because I had to. Let me give you an example of why I had to, because I had 3 cucumber plants out here in the garden. And those 3 cucumber plants, because for some reason I kept track of that, I delivered and consumed myself out of those 3 cucumber plants 370 pounds of cucumbers. And I'm out here by myself. 370 pounds of cucumbers off 3 plants. I've never seen that personally or individually myself. I've never experienced that much cucumbers off 3 damn plants. So the neighbors, my closest neighbor is like 2 miles away, for about the stretch of 7 miles dirt road from hardball to hardball. The neighbors are sick of cucumbers last year from me. I think they were probably toward the end, they were locking the doors, closing the curtains, and hiding because, oh God, here comes Tom with more cucumbers and tomatoes, and because it was significant in tomatoes and other things like that. So it grew last year, but I just pretty much quit and gave up. And then this year I had no intentions of doing any gardening. Well, what about food? And I got at least 2 years of food supply, that I got to start consuming, throwing away, giving away or something. So that was going to sustain me for this year for sure. And so I didn't have to worry about gardening and taking the time of doing that so I can concentrate on this other stuff. So nothing. It's been neglected. And the same thing with this spring, because I didn't plan on doing any gardening. I didn't do anything. I didn't heat up the soil with IMOs. I didn't put any fertilizers out there. I didn't put any nitrogen out there, with urea or my urine or any kind of source of nitrogen. I've done nothing. So right now, I'm looking at it and I'm involved. And here's why. Because I got a friend that lives about 25 miles away in an apartment, got a small little garden area, with just one little bed and some tubs kind of thing. I told them that, hey, you can have my garden. You can have free reign, grow whatever you want out here, and just have at it, because I have no intentions of doing any garden. I don't want to be burdened with it. I got other things on my mind and I'm thinking about. So I'm setting you up here with these conditions of what I'm going to show you. As of this week, I'm starting to get involved because they have a full-time job. And they live 25 miles away, and they got their own little garden. They got pets and everything. And I can't come out here knowing what they're doing, and I don't want to see them, go through all that effort and just have disappointment and failure. So I started getting involved. I'll explain a few things as I turn you around, because there's been already some failures out here so far this year. And there's 3 primary reasons. I think one of them's the significant one, but initially I thought it was because of so much rain and the vast temperature swings, 40 to 50 degree temperature swings. But the other thing that I'm finding out, and getting involved now, is we're finding when we dig up plants that die and look at the root ball and stuff like that, wireworm. So it's like, okay, they're here and they've probably been here for a little while, so I got to deal with that. So let's take a look at it. So you got all the conditions, kind of the situation and everything, and almost 2 years of neglect on the garden. And it's been 2 years since I put the wood chips on. And I did it the way I did because I did not have any intentions of doing any more tilling for at least 3 years. I wanted the wood chips to last 3 years, but I'm finding out, probably with all the microbial and fungi activity that's developed in this garden here, that ain't happening. Shut up, Tom. Show them the garden. And they want to know, after 5 years doing things the way I do, rubbing people the wrong way, going against the grain, just thinking logically, putting my principles out there for people just to consider. You don't have to do a damn thing I did, and you don't have to listen to a damn thing I say, but you may want to consider it. So here you go. There it is. The garden's still going. Been out here yesterday, day before, helping out. I did some weeding, and there's still weeds out there. You can't see them because they're small. I remember telling people, you're going to get them. They're going to get in there somehow, those seeds, through the birds, through the wind, your weed eating, your mowing, stuff like that. So it's not overrun. And the significant part of that result, I believe, is in creating that foundation, no matter what kind of ground you're on, is developing a foundation and getting to the source of the seeds, is eliminating the seed within the ground that's probably been there for 10, 15 years. So garlic, spring planted rounds in there in my outside beds, some yellow onion, some red onion, beets, now these tubs and stuff like that, and the comfrey, all that stuff mattered. I think people are concerned about the garden itself. Looking through the fence there, well, let's just walk in here. But you see things growing. I can't tell you everything. I just know there's a lot of daggum peppers down through here, and different varieties of peppers and so forth. Some tomato, a couple cucumbers just starting up on the panel down here. Some other type of squashes and zucchinis, and I think loofah growing on this trellis. Had lettuce bed in there, ate what we could until everything bolted with the big temperature swings. Peas are finishing up. Kind of strange here. I don't know why. It may be the water flow underneath within the soil or something, but they grew above the 4-foot panel up on here on the upper end of the garden, and it kind of has a downhill. I don't know what. So we got 2 harvests off of them, and the rest that's on there, the pods, we're just going to let and replenish the seeds. Some volunteer stuff around here. Tomato. Somebody gave a tomato. Pots, to get some flowers out here, and some peppers trying to grow, and some other type of climbing yellow something. I can't remember everything they wanted to try, and I'll just have at it. The only condition I had kind of letting somebody else in my garden like this is you can't bring no box store stuff in here. Don't bring that box store stuff and pay for that stuff. No synthetic anything. You just got to stay organic and use my fertilizers and inputs and everything. But the brassicas and stuff like that, kind of a failure because of the one is the wireworm, 2 is the drastic temperature changes, I think, and the heavy rain. As we went all week and no rain now, and as this garden starts to breathe a little bit, that's when everything started going up a little bit. I'm pretty sure cantaloupe, because we just put that down and took it out of the starter pot yesterday that we started. They're trying to do some sweet potatoes. They're kind of feeling that my soil's ready to try some sweet potatoes actually in the ground. I don't know. I already had some failures, some more peppers. I think these were jalapenos. One survived. I think artichoke. Tried that and everything pretty much failed. 2 of them's kind of surviving. Outside bed down here, some first year garlic cloves going from the bulbs to the rounds and to the first year clove. Planted those in the spring. My asparagus bed, 95% done. And I've got a suspicion, I haven't dug in there yet, I got a suspicion that them wireworms probably destroyed all my asparagus. I'm not real sure. I got at least 3 or 4 rabbits that come out. And every time I come out here at night and early in the morning, I see them suckers out here in this cleared area here. And I've already named them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So they've been eating well on my beet leaves, and plus the sporadic seeding of it, because I think when I put seed in the beds for that, I planted a lot of chaff and I wasn't planting seed. So I think that's one contribution as to why it's so thinly out. And the other is the rabbits have been enjoying themselves and enjoying the beet leaves. So that's okay. They need good food and nutrition, and they'll pass that nutrition on to me probably for too long. Tomatoes, I think butternut squash down here, some more peppers and stuff like that. Of course, the beds don't count. They want to try to do potatoes in my garden. Said, okay, I got plenty of compost and mulch and stuff that I've been developing over the years, so just going to hill it on here and just as an experiment and see what happens. But even with the neglect, I guess I could find some weeds, but I weeded 2 days ago, so I only got to do it like once a week maybe, and it only takes me 15-20 minutes still to this day, even after 5 years. I just did some late corn. We'll see how that turns out, especially if I got a wireworm problem. I just did some corn, so I'll fill up this area just to see what happens, and I just planted that yesterday. So I guess I could, well, people might want to look at the dirt. I've already dug in here, and I want to kind of see what the soil temperature is doing. What's that saying? 74? Really? That's it? Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I thought it was going to be higher. Let me find a spot here, fresh spot, and see if I can hold this camera. So let's just pop some up here. And then I'll try to come in close. Up, see right there? There's one of them wireworms. And there's no plant right here. I got a wireworm. He's tiny one. He's not a big one. I don't know. Is he showing up in between these two fingers, right at the tip of my thumb? Little tiny wireworm. These guys do a lot of damage. They can do a lot of damage when they get prevalent. So if I do end up tilling all this stuff in again, I don't know if you can see the coloration. I get down to the bottom and starting to get some separation, what sand I got in there. But all in all, we're doing good. Everything's seemingly, you can see the coloration change, and it's different in different places. And I got all that organic material, and the change of color in the clay, getting good mix in there. But it's still pretty moist. That's a rock. Okay, so kind of doing good. There's another wireworm. See, I'm gonna have a real problem here. I don't know if I can hold this camera, but basically what I'll do is take both fingers and I'll just pull him in half. But since I'm one-handed right now, I'll just smash this dude, and could just leave him be and let the birds, because when I get out of this garden, the birds really like coming in here and getting bugs. But there you go. So because the predominant question, besides what happened to me and am I doing okay, and you can see I'm still on this side of the dirt, was about the garden. How's the garden doing? And I'm getting back here in the shade. It's doing well. After 5 years, I still believe this is the best way to go about it, especially here in the Ozarks. But it doesn't matter where you're at. You can make this happen if you just think. Just think about the principles and look out in the woods and what's happening. This thing takes very little effort and time. It really does. Low cost inputs, very little maintenance required. I mean, this thing's been neglected for 1.5 years, almost 2 years, with minimal labor into it by myself. I mean, very, very minimal. Back to Eden, wood chip style gardening is nothing new. People have been mulching and covering the soil and feeding it, with wood chips and stuff like that a long, long time. Only thing I'll reiterate is if you want to have this ease when it comes to weeds and stuff like that, do not bring directly in your grass clippings, your hays, and your straws. Do not bring anything and contribute to the already things that are going to take place that are out of your control. Do not contribute to bringing in seed into your garden area if you'd like to have it like this. I don't do this for aesthetic purposes. I do not maintain a garden like this for aesthetic purposes. I do this primarily for safety. I got to worry about copperheads and the pygmy rattler snakes, and I'll be damned if I want to come out here and pull little blades of grass, or I guess if I wasn't doing that. But I don't want to be walking out here in barefoot or anything like that, or digging around for a squash or a tomato or a potato, and a little pygmy rattler be sitting there. They don't get very big, but man, they pack a wallop. And I'm 53 miles away from the nearest medical emergency room. And that's not something I'm going to play around with. Now, I may just stick it out and call a few neighbors and let them know I got hit by a copperhead, and I may just, deal with it on my own, but I'm not doing that with the pygmy rattler snake. And I'll be damned if I want to garden and be at peace and ease my mind and get my healing out here and worrying about a pygmy rattler. I've had 2 close calls within inches, and I don't know why, and I was protected. It was something kept me from getting hit. Once in my foot, right down here at the by the log at the edge of the garden, and then once down there by the mailbox in that bed I got down there where I got comfrey and marigold and all that stuff. I'm just doing a little hand weeding there, and within 6 inches, 8 inches, there's a pygmy rattlesnake sitting right there, and I just happened to see him. Luckily I had somebody else on the other one out here by the garden, saw it about 10, 12 inches away from my foot, and I'm in my damn sandals, So I got damn lucky. That's why I don't just let stuff grow in my garden. I don't do it so it looks pretty. It's nice, to have a little organization and seeing things like that. I'm not going to let all those medicinals and all those edible wild weeds and grasses grow in my garden for that primary reason. So, boy, this is probably going to be a long one. I don't know how long this has been, but I got a feeling it's going to be a while. That's okay. I hope you take my advice on this video, you folks that are agitated listening to me. But any video that I put out, just go down there to your damn settings and change the playback speed, increase the playback speed. You ain't going to hurt me, and you ain't going to hurt my feelings if I don't get watch time or something like that. I don't care. Do what's best for you. But if you get anything out of it and it benefits you somehow, then good. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I get a little pat on the back and feeds my ego a little bit. I'll take it right now. I'll take it. But thank you for at least pretending like you got some interest in me. If you see anything and you hear anything that's beneficial or edifying, or you think it might be to someone else, as always, all I ask you to do is share it. From your mouth to their ears. You don't have to share the video. You don't have to promote the channel. You don't have to do that. But if it's beneficial to other people and in this gardening method, just pass it on. Pass it on. I hope you got something out of it. All right. Have a nice day. May all your branches become full of fruit. And I'll see you next time. Hoorah.